thrash or speed, like you're doing this and a lot of quick controlled movements, or you can do a lot of like fast left hand pull-offs where you're doing this movement. Anything you want to say about that kind of stuff?
Yeah, for the most part, that's another genre specific type of injury where if you're doing tons of fast picking and just a lot of downstrokes, it's easy to really, tense up the whole upper body, let alone just the wrist and the thumb muscles here. So what I would say is notice whether, when you're doing a lot of heavy picking, is your whole entire body tense? If so, you're probably going to have some issues with muscle tension and pain in the long term if you're playing like that. So you may want to think about tightening in the core, like kind of in the center of your stomach here, and then relaxing the neck and shoulders, and just really focusing your tension just down and right where the pick is, as opposed to tensioning the entire upper body. Yeah. And as far as the fingering goes, I would say, there tends to be a little bit more wrist flexion or bending at the wrist that happens when you're doing tons of fingering, moving up and down the neck. So if anything, I mentioned this earlier, just make sure you warm up into it and then take frequent breaks when you're doing tons of practicing. And I can show you some stretches later too to help with that.
Yeah, I think you mentioned in your email also that women have the tendency to hyperextend too. Is that something in the left hand, if you're right-handed player?
Exactly. Yeah, they just tend to, just because of the size of the guitar and reaching, it just takes a little bit more effort. So you can see there can be quite an angle in here. And if you're always playing at this angle, it puts a lot of stress on the tendons on the back of the forearm and in the front of the forearm as well. So there's potential for injury there. Yeah.
So that's like a kind of a classical position too. So classical players or classical style players would want to look out for that.
Exactly.
And what about this position? There's that like blues position, which I don't use, but a lot of people like that. Claw,
Neither is that the greatest.
Okay.
So it's everything in a little bit of moderation, right? I think it's in order to get the different sounds and feels, you're definitely going to be encountering the different positions. But any chance you get, and if you can just fall into a more neutral position every once in a while, where your wrist is a little bit straighter, just to give your hand a break, that would be ideal. Yeah.
Good. Something to think about in songwriting, you could try to incorporate a lot of just like right hand riffing and just kind of get your hand right.
Some open notes. Nice low E's.
Do one of these.
Or a nice strum and just power.
Do you have any favorite guitar related products like straps, guitars, chairs that you could recommend for helping guitarists avoid injuries?
I can't say I have any favorites. I know that some people I know, they've started using double straps that go over both shoulders just to take the weight of the guitar or bass, whatever it is, over two shoulders. But some of them have complained that it doesn't really work because it tends to tilt the guitar into a heavier position on one shoulder. So that's an option. For the most part, what I usually recommend for people is just to learn a good proper sitting technique and position, and you can use pretty much anything in your house to set that up. So for myself, I actually don't use any special gear or special equipment. It's just a matter of knowing what position to set yourself up in, and avoiding those extreme rotated positions where your head is bent over and your shoulders twisted, and or if you're sitting cross-legged on your bed for 2 hours straight, it's probably going to be hard on your body eventually as we all get older.
Anything else you want to talk about in terms of, or any key points you want to put out there for either guitar players, metal guitar players, or women players in general?
The biggest thing is, your posture, your technique, and how you go about practicing. So taking the breaks that you need, going into the warm-ups, and a little bit of cool down as well. So that's pretty much it.
All right.
Yeah.
And if you ignore Grace's advice, you can come in and see her for
Exactly.
Physio.
Exactly. Bring
right.
your instrument.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you.